Okay, y'all, we're back again, man. Hitting up Iron Maiden Part 2, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Been looking forward to this all day at work, man. So finally, here we are, hitting up Part 2. I'm expecting great things. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, Part 1 made it up onto YouTube. Well, I know it has, but hopefully it holds. Sometimes it really teases you, sticks for about maybe a couple of hours and then it's gone. So hopefully it sticks for a while so you all can see it. Let's hit up part 2, man. Seventh son of seventh son. Let's get it. Here's to a long ass day and finally being able to relax. He's got to be a powerful son of a bitch. He's the seventh son, and his father was the seventh son.
Trying to manipulate the use of
slow things down. It makes you focus and pay attention.
Today is born the seventh one, born of woman the seventh son, and he in turn the seventh son. He has the power to heal. He has the gift of the second sight. He is the chosen one. So it shall be written. So it shall be done.
They're really stretching this out, aren't they? Making you think of and visualize the story. Steve Harris, that's that great bassist that they've got. These power riffs, man. was a long ass outro, but perfectly fitting for a concept album. They're trying to get you to think about the story being told. Foresight. You can warn about disasters. So here they are in the song before, sitting to wait and see what he's going to turn out to be. He turns out to be a source of good. He's trying to help them out, and they're not listening. Human nature, unpredictable. And they blame him for it. Wow. It's a nice outro.
Feel the sweat break on my brow. Is it me or is it shadows that are dancing on the walls? Is this a dream or is it now? Is this a vision or normality I see before my eyes? I wonder why, I wonder how. But it seems that the power's getting stronger every day. I feel a strengthening of fire. But I'm scared I won't be able to control it anymore. There's a time to live and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying? There's a time to live and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying?
Man, it's like going in so many different directions with the music. It's awesome.
Just by looking through your eyes, he could see the future penetrating right in through your mind. See the truth and see your lies. But for all his power, couldn't foresee his own demise.
So right.
There's a
Couldn't
time
foresee his own death.
and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying? There's a time to live and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying?
What's the word for it? When you change directions in music completely. I just love that. They did that a bunch of times in this song.
The demon in your mind will raise
think he's being addressed by temptation, by the evil force, Satan, the devil, whatever. Only the good die young. So I think he's embracing more of the dark side of things.
Seven deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell. 7 downward slopes, 7 bloodied hopes, 7 are your burning fires, 7 your desires.
Okay, so that concludes our look at this really cool concept album, man. Iron Maiden. Seventh son of a seventh son. What a story being told. And in the end, I think he went the Anakin route, decided to embrace the dark side of things. I don't know. All of these different passages come into my mind. I can't remember. I think it might have been Madonna who said it, that it's only the misbehaved divas are remembered in history. So, you kind of sometimes go in the... I'm always saying embrace the dark side. You embrace the dark side, it seems like there's more fun on the dark side. I don't know, for whatever reason he decided to probably go with more the dark side than the light. He tried being good, he tried being on the side of virtue and all of that sort of thing. People threw it in his face, and it seems that it takes a lot more effort to be good, so he just decided to just say the hell with it and just embrace the dark side. I think that's kind of like the gist of it. Maybe it's not that simplistic, but that's what I'm getting. Really, really good, man. It reminds me some of these songs, especially I would say Can I Play with Madness and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son specifically reminds me of this novel that I read, Piercing the Darkness, Frank Peretti. And, it's about spiritual warfare, good versus evil, angels versus demons, and they have a vested interest over the affairs of man and man's soul. And so this one particular person, Sally Beth Rowe, she was born into a satanic cult. But along the course of her growing up into adulthood, she had these moments of questions and doubts. And when she had these moments, it empowered the angels to influence her a little bit more. So she started getting a little bit more clarity. And then, of course, she would kind of get these other moments of darkness and all, and it empowered the demons to kind of keep her ignorant. And there was this back and forth battle going on, trying to keep Sally Beth Rowe, influenced on either side. It was very, very interesting, like a tug of war over this lady's soul. Anyway, check it out. Piercing the Darkness, Frank Peretti. Really, really good read, but it'll take you a while, man. It's like, 400, 500 pages, something like that. I couldn't put the book down for a week. So this seventh son of a seventh son, it reminds me a little bit of that storyline. And it's always that question, should you go on the side of good? Should you go on the side of bad, the dark side? Should you mix it up a little bit? The question he was asking, can I play with madness? I think kind of attributes to that sentiment. But yeah, overall, really, really good story being told here, man. And it would be cool if somebody came along and made some sort of a visual slideshow, in real time to the music, something like that along the way. These concept albums definitely have to be given a little bit more of a spotlight, because they're fantastic, man. And I'm just wondering how many concept albums there are out there. You know what I'm saying? I really, really dig them. I really dig a story being told in song over the entire album. That's really cool shit in my mind. And if I had the power, I would will it that every major rock act give me a damn concept album or a couple. That'd be my wish. Let's do this. Let's take a look at this album, man, and see what we can learn. If they how they got inclined to do a concept album, why they wanted to do a concept album, how it came about, all of that stuff. Some of the really good stories behind the music. It's just as intriguing to me as the music itself. So let's see what we can learn about this album, man. All right. It's a lot of information here, damn. Okay. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the seventh studio album by English heavy metal band Iron Maiden. It was released on the 11th of April in '88 in the UK by EMI Records and in the US by Capitol Records. Like The Number of the Beast in '82 and later Fear of the Dark in '92, The Final Frontier 2010 and The Book of Souls in 2015, the album debuted at number 1 on the UK Albums Chart. The lead single, Can I Play With Madness, was also a commercial success, peaking at number 3 in the UK Singles Chart. A concept album inspired by the novel Seventh Son by Orson Scott Card, the record incorporates elements of progressive rock, seen in the length and complex structure of the title track. It was also the first Iron Maiden album to feature keyboards, creating synth effects, which the band introduced on their previous LP, Somewhere in Time in '86. After his contributions were rejected for Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son features several songs co-written by lead vocalist Bruce Dickinson, who states that his enthusiasm for the band was renewed during the album's production stages. It was Iron Maiden's last studio record to feature the Peace of Mind era lineup until 2000's Brave New World, with guitarist Adrian Smith leaving the band in January 1990 after he did not approve of the direction the band were aiming for on their next album, No Prayer for the Dying. Okay. Following the album's release, the band embarked on the seventh tour of a seventh tour, in which Derek Riggs' cover art was recreated on stage. The band played over 100 shows, including the Monsters of Rock Festival at Dunnington Park, and recorded the Maiden England video at Birmingham's NEC. From 2012 to 14, the band revisited the Seventh Son era on their Maiden England World Tour. Okay, yeah, let's hit up background writing and concept. We'll get some good information in this area. Damn, it's a lot though. Holy, yeah. It's really a lot. I'm gonna have to bounce around. I can't read it all. Okay. We'll read enough to hopefully get a really good idea of the overall big picture of the album and the concept and the inspiration and all that. So, background writing and concept. The idea to base the album around the folklore concept of the seventh son of a seventh son came to bassist Steve Harris after he read Orson Scott Card's Seventh Son. Harris stated, quote, "It was our seventh studio album and I didn't have a title for it or any ideas at all. Then I read the story of the seventh son, this mystical figure that was supposed to have all these paranormal gifts, like second sight and what have you. And it was more at first that it was just a good title for the seventh album. But then I rang Bruce and started talking about it, and the idea just grew, unquote. After his songwriting contributions were rejected from the band's previous album, Bruce Dickinson felt that his role within the band had diminished as he just became the singer, but felt renewed enthusiasm when Harris explained the concept to him. Quote, I thought, what a great idea, brilliant. And of course, I was really chuffed. Chuffed. What the hell does that mean? Chuffed. I've never heard that word before. And of course, I was really chuffed too, because he'd actually rung me to talk about it and asked me if I had any songs that might fit that sort of theme. So chuffed must mean that he was really stoked. I think that's what that means. I was like, well, no, but give me a minute and I'll see what I can do, unquote. Speaking about the record in later years, however, Dickinson remarked that we almost did something great, explaining that it was only half a concept album. There was no attempt to see it all the way through, like we really should have done. Seventh Son has no story. It's about good and evil, heaven and hell, but isn't every Iron Maiden record? Question mark. Okay. It seems to have a very, very through storyline though. In addition to Dickinson's return to writing, the album was also notable for its number of co-written pieces, in contrast to its predecessor, with 5 of the 8 tracks being collaborative efforts. According to Harris, this was probably because they spent more time checking up on each other to see what everybody else was up to, just to make sure the story fitted properly and went somewhere. To make sure each song fit with the record's concept, the band drew up a basic outline for the story, which Harris states didn't make the actual writing any easier. I probably took longer over the writing I've done on this album than any other I've done before. But the stuff we all started coming up with, once we'd agreed that we were definitely going for a fully fledged concept album, really startled me. It was so much better than anything we'd done in ages, unquote. Startled him in a good way. Stylistically, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son developed the sounds first heard on Somewhere in Time, although on this occasion, the synth effects were created by keyboards rather than bass or guitar synth. According to Dickinson, the band decided not to hire a keyboard player, but the parts being mainly one-finger stuff from Adrian Smith's guitar. Harris was fond of the development in spite of the fact that the record did not sell as well as its predecessor in the US. Quote, I thought it was the best album we did since Peace of Mind. I loved it because it was more progressive. I thought the keyboards really fit brilliantly because that's the influence I grew up with. And I was so pissed off with the Americans because they didn't really seem to accept it. Everyone said afterwards that it was a European sounding album. I'm not so sure about that. What's a European sounding album? To me, it's just a Maiden sounding album, unquote. Yeah, no kidding, what the hell. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son marked the end of guitarist Adrian Smith's first stint in the band. Okay, so he had a couple of stints with the band. The album and its supporting tour marked the last appearance of Adrian Smith until he returned to the band in '99. The guitarist left during the pre-production stages of the band's following album, 1990's No Prayer for the Dying, as he was unhappy with the more street-level direction the group were taking, professing that he thought we were heading in the right direction with the last 2 albums, and that he thought we needed to keep going forward, and it just didn't feel like that to him. Okay. Yeah, so okay, now we're into production, and it's the longest part. Or not production, sorry, promotion. Okay, and so there's a whole bunch of public appearances and things like that. Let's scroll through that. It's just way too much to read, man. And it's like a whole bunch of dates and all sorts of appearances. Critical reception, let's check that out. The album has received consistent critical praise since its release, with AllMusic rating it 4.5 out of 5 stars, saying that the addition of keyboards restores the crunch that was sometimes lacking in the shinier production of the previous album, and that it ranks among their best work. Sputnik Music scored the album 4 out of 5, and while they state that the band has better releases, such as Power Slave and Somewhere in Time, they argue that it is lyrically one of Iron Maiden's finest efforts. In 2005, the album was ranked number 305 in Rock Hard Magazine's book of the 500 greatest rock and metal albums of all time. In his biography of the band, Paul Stenning stated, "This lineup of the group hit its peak in 1988. Despite not being a fully fledged progressive album, it ranked number 11 in Loudwire's list of the top 25 progressive metal albums of all time." Okay. More critical POVs. Although Jeff Barton states that contemporary reviews contained a definite reaction against Maiden emphasizing their progressive rock pretensions, and that one critic slammed Maiden for Seventh Son and accused them of having progressed into Genesis-style progressive rockers from the 70s, Kerrang were extremely positive upon the album's release, awarding full marks and stating that with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Iron Maiden have given rock music back its direction and its pride, and that the record will eventually be hailed alongside such past milestones as Tommy, Tubular Bells, and The Dark Side of the Moon. Unquote. Wow. Really, really good reviews here. Yeah, and of course, I guess being in 1988, a lot of contemporary critics would probably see a shifting of the time with them incorporating the synth sound and all of these different things. I can understand them saying that they might be, what did they say? Regressing into Genesis-style progressive rockers from the 70s. But a little bit of the shifting of the signature sound is what they're saying, and they were worried that they would lose their identity in that. I can understand that, but no, man, Iron Maiden's signature sound is one of the very, very last things that will ever change in rock and roll. That is for sure. So, that concludes our look at this great concept album, Now, what do you think of this concept album, comparing it to others? Especially in the metal genre. What do you think of this particular concept album? If you were to compare it to that of the Abigails and some of the other really, really good metal concept albums, especially that we've checked out on this platform. Let me know what you think. Do you think that it's probably among the top, the best concept albums? And, I'm just getting into the concept album idea. So if there's some in your mind and you're not sure that I've checked it out, give me a list of them. I'll see what I've looked at and what I haven't, and go from there. But rank this concept album for me in your mind. Let me know what you think, especially comparing it among more of the heavy rock, more of the metal type bands. That'd be quite interesting. I'm separating it from that of Tommy and Quadrophenia, that sort of thing. I'm just going to my notes here, man, just seeing what I've got going on here before I bounce. Yeah, so I got a couple of reactions in the shoot that I've got to get to, man. A couple of new patrons and a couple of PayPal submissions that I've got to get on. And I know in the next little while we're going to have some folk rock, a little bit more progressive metal coming up. I'm not sure exactly what act. This is weeks removed, I'm still trying to kind of go back in time. But I know that we've got some folk rock coming up, and we've got some really good classic grooves. Sasha, Chris, CSN, and Akachita. So I know that I've got a mixed variety of things coming up. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, man. It's always a really good time listening to Iron Maiden. Their signature sound is just one of those signature sounds in rock and roll that I can always listen to. And I think what I'll do is I'll upload this also to the classic platform. Yes, even though it's in the later part of the 80s, it still has the classic rock signature sound. You know what I mean? You know, when you have a classic rock band like this, even going into the 80s, 90s, and the present day, they still have that classic rock signature sound usually, and it's, you know, the guitar driven, that sort of thing. I know that the classic rock parameters, by my definition, go from, let's say, the early mid 60s to the early mid 80s, but there's some overlap sometimes. In a case like this, for example, it's a perfect example. So I think what I'll do is I'll also put this up on my classic rock platform. A lot of the times with the two platforms, some of the people who are subscribers to the classic platform, they're not aware that I have another platform to be on, and the same thing back and forth, right? So I think in a case like this, I'll definitely upload it also to the classic platform. As well, another note, if you're seeing this on YouTube, hopefully it all goes up on YouTube. Remember, I have other platforms. So if you're not seeing, let's say, a couple of reactions for a week at a time or whatever the case is, it's because they're being blocked on YouTube. So you've got to go check out my Vimeo platform and check out my public Patreon on either platform. That's where you're going to actually see a lot of the reactions that are blocked. And I use Led Zeppelin as an example. More than 50% of all of my Led Zeppelin reactions are not on YouTube. So you're going to have to go and find it on my other platforms. A little scrolling because, you know, it's not as user-friendly as the YouTube platform, but it's still worth your while, you know. I mean, especially if you want to see, let's say, the Rover from Led Zeppelin. You'll never see it on YouTube. You're going to have to go and check out my other platforms. So just a reminder to my subscribers on YouTube, you got to venture a little bit if you want to see some more reactions from me. I know after a couple of days, people are sending me notes like, STB, did you die? Are you still alive? Where are you? Where did you go? Where did I go? Sometimes the stuff on YouTube don't get through, so you got to go check out the other platforms. I can't link you there because then I get community guideline strikes, just so you know. Okay, all right, man, so that is my reaction and my review of this excellent album. Iron Maiden is one of the best bands ever in rock and roll, man. And yeah, I know I keep saying it, I got to do more and I got to do more. One of these good old days, when I quit my full-time job and I do this shit full-time, you're going to be sick of me doing Iron Maiden reactions. But until then, I got to try and squeeze it in as much as I can. So have a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care. And I don't know when my next Iron Maiden reaction is going to be, but hey, you send me an Iron Maiden recommendation, I will make the time to react to it. That's basically the best that I can do there. Anyways, have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you later. Peace.